it's your girl Janie, and for the life of me, welcome back to 4D Life of Me. If you're new, where you been? And if you're subscribed and returning, welcome back, guys. So this is a 3-part series on how to come to Canada, universities versus colleges, cost of living, and how to get free tuition. Okay, it's paper money, guys. So let's get right into it. Like I always say, a disclaimer, I am just giving this video based on my personal experience, my opinion, and research. I am not in any means a lawyer or a legal practitioner. You should always consult a primary resource for this information. I just suffered not having some guidance when I was doing my research to come here. And so I just want to be that resource if I can for you guys to have your information in one place. And you can always vet it against like a lawyer or a professional opinion. So talking about cost of living, I am going to be using myself a lot as a point of view or point of reference. But again, just so you guys know, I live in Toronto, and Toronto is not in any means like the rest of Canada. I don't know how to explain this to you. Toronto is the most diverse city, is the one where a lot of people come to. The rest of Canada is very empty up north because it's really cold. So this is just a lot of things I would say when I say my will be about Toronto, but the rest is just research on the average cost across Canada. Let's do this, guys. Let's do this. As in most countries, we know that tuition fees are higher for international students, but how high are we talking? And rates vary depending on the city which you are going to, the province, the institution, and of course the program of choice. But I just need you guys to know that the most expensive cities in Canada will be Toronto and Vancouver in British Columbia. Toronto is in Ontario, by the way. I'm going to put a link up on this site called Expedition that's going to show you the cost of living across the various cities in Canada. But so you know, as a student, your living expenses for a year, including accommodation, will range between 10,000 Canadian dollars and 15,000 Canadian dollars. You'll need to include your compulsory health insurance in that budget, and usual items like food, groceries, shopping, and the rest of them. But you have to put in mind too the harsh weather. The further up north you go, the colder it becomes. Just a fun fact, 80% of Canada's population lives within 161 kilometers from the US border. I'm one of those people. I can't do it. It's so cold right now, guys. It's so snowy. I wish I could show you. It's about minus 20 something degrees. So guys, like I said, especially if you're coming from a tropical country or a place where it's not as cold as Canada, you want to put that into consideration when choosing a school or a place of residence. This is not Game of Thrones, guys. We're not trying to freeze, okay? Okay. So rent. Let's talk about rent. Okay, it's not very exciting. I don't know why I'm that excited. In a big city, small apartments will range from 850 Canadian dollars to 1,800. Where I'm from, we say 1,800, but now I say 1,800 Canadian dollars. It's alright. But a similar size apartment outside the city would be about 750 to 1,000 Canadian dollars. So that's a big price difference from living in cities to living in the suburbs. So rent in a major Canadian city would range from 1,700 Canadian dollars to 2,500 Canadian dollars, and for a 3-bedroom apartment. But of course, again, this depends on the city. However, living in a similar sized apartment outside the city will cost you between 1,200 and 1,800 Canadian dollars. I hope you guys have your pen and papers and are taking this down. Okay, guys, I'm just looking out for you. So, again, my experience. We don't live in the city center. I live about 30 minutes drive from downtown Toronto, and for a 2-bedroom apartment, we pay about 1,500. But I know my friends who live in London, Ontario, which is not as big as Toronto. For a 3-bedroom, they pay about what I'm paying for a 3-bedroom, or a little less. So that's how rent fluctuates depending on where you want to go. I know a guy who was trying to get a tiny bachelor's apartment in the heart of downtown Toronto, and he's paying 950 Canadian. And a lot of people say he's lucky to get it for that price. But again, guys, Toronto is very expensive and it's not reflective of the rest of Canada. So for grocery, I spend about $100 a week or two, depending on how much my brother and I eat in a week. But something where I save money on food is to cook at home, because restaurants, that's how they get you. On average in Canada, people spend $130 for transportation, because usually one-way trips are about $3 depending on the city. In Toronto, I think it's $3.25 or $3.50. I get a student pass monthly just so that I don't have to, have change on me, get transfers, and I can hop on, hop off whenever I want. And now let's get to the juicy part of the conversation: free tuition. Yeah, guys, there's a thing called free tuition, or you can just call it scholarships. So, like we know, or like I know, a lot of it's hard to get loan as a Canadian, as an international student in Canada. A lot of Canadians, however, get like OSAP, which is Ontario Student Assistance Program. I don't know if I'm getting that right, but it's a way to get loan for being Canadian. But international students do not get that, and you need about, like we said, like we covered the cost of tuition in universities versus colleges, the previous video. Check that out if you haven't. You need at least like $15,000 for a year for tuition alone, and about $10,000 for a cost of living. So you probably need some free assistance. So I'll put a lot of links for you guys to get like scholarships. But a lot of graduate programs cost anywhere from 6,500 Canadian to 33,000 Canadian per year, like we talked about. So it's very useful for you to check out if your school offers scholarships, grants, and the like, so they can come in bursaries and stuff like that. Always look out for those. However, if you're exceptional in whatever you do, say writing essays, you can get scholarships and funding. You just have to look at the Canadian government website, and also some individual universities actually have scholarships for international students. A lot of them don't, but some do. And you should also check websites like Scholarships Canada. I'm going to put the link below, and the Canadian Bureau for International Education. There's a lot of others. I'm going to put in the link below. Okay, and guys, you can also just Google it. Say I'm Chinese. I wish. I'll just go Google scholarship for Chinese women in Canada, and a lot of links will come up. But again, I got you. I'm going to put up those links down below. So guys, I hope I've been able to answer your question on the cost of living, tuition, how to get free scholarships, and pretty much surviving here in Canada as an international student. If there's anything I haven't covered, guys, please leave it in the description box below, or send me an email at jaysbrands@gmail.com. But guys, like I mentioned earlier in the previous videos, I'm trying to host a Facebook or Instagram live session where you all can ask me your questions directly and not have to wait forever for me to reply. But I can only do this video if I have at least 500 subscribers. That way I'm getting this information to more people at once. Just so, sharing the love and the information. I really do hope you guys can help with that. Just help me share and subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Thank you guys for watching today. I hope I have left a 4D smile on your face. If I have, signify by giving this a thumbs up and leaving your comments below. Again, guys, remember to always seek a second source when thinking about things like immigration. See you next time. And every time you hit the phone, you say me company. I'm a runner boy. Major keys, I'm the boss.